Okay, I told you on my last video I was going to cover oils that I used in my bike. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the Yamaha Big Bear, if you don't want to use the Yamaha brand oils, then of course you have to know the specifications. The main one is for the rear end oil, and I'll cover that in just a second. But let's start off with the regular oil and the oil filter. First of all, I used Ames oil products. Now, I've never used Ames oil before. They're a fully synthetic. They're supposed to be the first one that ever did full synthetic oil. Yamaha recommends 10W40. Ames oil says that their 0W40 is way better than Yamaha's any other 10W40 oil, and that's the one for my bike to use. So this is what I use. Now, you're going to use a little more than what it says in the book. It says like 3.47 quarts or something like that. I used a little more than that. Now, let's see. The oil filter, I didn't know, but I ordered an Amsoil oil filter. The oil filter that's in there is like the paper material oil filter. All the aftermarket oil filters that I know of are this. They're a metal screen, and so you can see through it. Well, hold on a second. Can you see my finger? There you go. You can see through it. And the reason I like these is because you can take them out of the bike, you can just clean them, and then you can put them back in. And that's what I'll be doing, because I don't see any advantage of putting a new one if you can clean it just as good. Now, I'm going to cover more on the oil filter in just a minute after I show you the rest of the oils, because there is something I need to show you. Well, okay. Now, the main problem with the oils on the Yamaha Big Bear is the rear end oil. The reason is because the rear end has the sealed wet brake. Now, Kawasaki and Suzuki both have a sealed wet brake. I don't know if any other manufacturers do, but I know that those Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki, all three have one. And you can use their brand for rear end oil, but it's just as much as this stuff, and this is full synthetic, and theirs is not. Now, basically, the rear end oil in a Yamaha Big Bear 400 IRS with the sealed wet brake is tractor hydraulic oil. Now, there's a lot of products you can use, but if you want full synthetic and one that's actually labeled for the ATV 4-wheel drive rear end with sealed wet brake, then the Amsoil tractor hydraulic transmission oil, it's 5W30 weight, is rated for that. Actually, on their website it says for that, but it says wet brakes right here. So this is what I used, and that's supposed to be the thing to use. Now, for the front end oil, I used the manual transmission and transaxle gear lube, and it's GL4 rated. That is another important thing. This is GL4 rated also, and it has to be. The oil for the rear end has to be GL4 rated, and it has to be rated for wet brakes. If not, it'll eat your wet brakes. So both of these have to be GL4 rated. This is just regular GL4 gear oil, but I wanted synthetic, so I went with Amsoil. Now, as far as putting the oil in the rear ends and front ends, I used this little pump. You can get it at O'Reilly's. It just goes down on the bottle, screws on, and a little tube. It makes it really easy. Now, let's go over to the bike and let me show you what I was going to show you about the oil filter. Okay, now here's what I was going to show you. When you go to change this oil filter, it's a pain in the butt. Now, I'll show you what I did. The problem is that you have hardly any room to get to the oil filter cover, which is, I think, also the pump. I'm not sure, but the lines run here and here, and you see that whole area? Behind there is the oil filter. Well, way in there, see that screw? There's three of those. One there, one over here, and one over here. And they're very hard to get to. I used a 6-inch long, 1/4-inch extension to get in there with a number 5 Allen wrench end. And so that's what I used to get it out. Once you get it out, there's not a lot of room to pull this out, but it'll barely fit. So if you're trying to do this and you're having trouble, don't worry, it will go. It's just a pain to do so. So that, I believe, concludes everything about the bike. My next review I'm going to do on the bike you see behind it, which is a Honda Recon, and it's been a great bike for me. So thanks guys, and bye.